So the question I had for you guys as a little exercise at the end is, at the moment we could all do with more world peace, but what is world peace as a frequency? I know where it sits on the frequency chart in the hertz numbers, but what does it mean? Like, when I ask you to hold peace, how do we know we're all holding the same frequency of peace when it's not something that can be easily explained? So what would peace feel like to you guys? If I asked you all to hold the space of peace, what would you do? Peace is quite a complex frequency when you think about it. And then I'm going to be a bit controversial, and I'm going to say, if you were in a war zone and somebody came up and offered you peace, would that be enough? Or would you need something a bit more, like, so they're feeling it but can't describe it? Because then you have to look at, what is the opposite of peace? It's separation, it's fighting. So part of peace would have to be there for some sort of unity where we can all look at each other as being part of the same family. Yeah, acceptance. So we can see already now peace is already moving away from the word peace into something a bit more detailed. Acceptance, unity. But also, a lot of wars are based over resources, or fighting over resources. So then doesn't that bring in abundance? So we're talking about the frequencies that we really want to share is abundance and sharing and caring. Anybody got any other words they can think of? So harmony would be the kind of energy for how we talk to each other, more loving and more caring, maybe. Equality, someone's saying, yeah, but is that even real? I think with something like equality, we have to ask the question, why are we not seeing each other as equal? Why are we so focused on creating separation? And, this is another kind of big question, which I think is worth asking. But if everyone didn't need money, if they had all the resources they needed, and everything was free to have, would we still have war? I kind of think we would. Humans are quite interesting creatures when it comes to this. And we mentioned harmony, but could harmony be more divinity? If we were all connected to how divine we are and how interconnected we are, would we be less prone? And I'm not talking about divinity in a religious term here. I'm talking about our own sense of self, our own awareness of how strong we feel. Yeah, it's like Marta's saying, fights existed before money. I think so too. It's, we've got to love the fact that money is just one resource, but that's why I said resources as opposed to just money. But yeah, but fights are usually over resources and lack. So we've got scarcity, division. So then when we think about peace and holding a state of peace, it almost doesn't seem to cater for all of the complex aspects, all the complex ingredients that a frequency needs to really be a bringer of peace, if that makes sense. So I thought this was quite interesting when I was thinking about this today, because it kind of brings us back in a complete circle, because I started this podcast with us connecting to our creative energy, because I said that abundance, whether it be money or resources, is earned through something that we have to offer. And that thing we have to offer is our time or our creativity. Those that are successful have a connection to their creativity energy, and they're able to be seen and heard and offer that in exchange for money. Those that are shyer will struggle with that. Those that are not connected at all will feel scarcity consciousness. So is the answer to peace actually the answer to connecting everyone to their creative life force energy and helping them feel worthy of being on the planet? Because if we all felt worthy to be on this planet and share the resources of this planet, would that perhaps be the reason we stopped fighting each other? That was kind of my thought pattern today. See where my brain goes. Not simple, is it? But this is kind of going back then, like last week, talking about holding a vision. So tonight, just before we finish, I thought we could perhaps hold like a vision for peace based on what we just said. So here, what we're talking about doing is creating a frequency in our bodies and then emanating it out a bit like we did last week and spreading that out across the world. And the thing is, again, that might seem a bit separate from real life, but once you've done this, then I'm going to ask you to do something in real life as well. So let's tune into the frequency first. So let's focus on every human being having their life force energy switched on. And we're going to do that by envisaging 4 dragons, one bringing in the earth, one bringing in the water, one bringing in the fire, and one bringing in the air. And we're going to see that energy kind of coming up. So we'll do it for us first. So we'll see that energy coming up through our feet, spiraling around our spine, and then leaving through the top of our head. And what this does is it reminds you that you are made up of the earth, that you are made of the elements of the earth, and that you are part of what we need right now. We're meant to be on this planet doing what we're doing. Even the bad stuff sometimes has a purpose bigger than we can imagine. But there are still more and more of us waking up to doing more positive, more expansive way of living. So we're just going to focus on that expansion where we see the world in a more balanced way, where we can see resources being shared easily, where everybody has that creative energy understood and valued, where we value our own creative energy. And we can see people fairly exchanging. There's no copying. There's no need to force people into buying what you have to offer. Everybody just can see clearly what each individual is bringing because we're all connected to a divine plan. We can all sense that bigger way of working that brings all these individual ants together to work as one. We're like little tiny ants and we're all coming together to work as one. And it's a divine plan that anchors that in. Because we know that we have more powers than we realize. And when we can tune into that creative energy, we can then start creating new paradigms, new leadership, new governments, new housing, new climate management, new planet management. That's what the creativity allows us to do. And when we can do that, we can then start being more free and more open with our knowledge, so that the whole world can benefit, not keeping it country by country. So how's that going as a frequency? Have we got that? Can we feel it? And each of us is here with a unique vision for this planet. Each of us has a little bit of information that nobody else has. And that's partly what I want us all to find, because when we all find it and plug them all together, that's what's going to make the change. So we're calling other souls now that are here to do the kind of work that we're talking about. And just imagine that we're all linking up and holding hands with those beings that resonate with what we're talking about tonight. We kind of make a big circle all around the planet where we link hands, each of us with that dragon energy coming up through the feet and spiraling around the spine. And as we hold hands, we can feel that energy flowing from one person to the other, all the way around this circle. And just by doing this, we're asking and activating people to tune in more to their creative energy, to find the solutions that we need for the problems of this planet. And instead of sending love, I just want us to send hope. Hope there's somebody out there, a leader, a scientist, a researcher, whoever, that has the solution to the problem, can sense into it more and listen to their soul whispers and start to create something different that is going to be the key to unlocking the way that we all treat each other right now. And I say soul whispers because we want it to be a soul-led action, not a personality or greed focus. This is going to be a soul of service to humanity type solution. And we just make this stronger and stronger. And then just send it out all around the planet to anybody that's ready to listen to us now. We send it out to the hearts of everyone we know. Those that are willing to open their hearts to hear their soul whispers. Now just bring that energy back to you and think, what can you do in your community right now to help somebody feel this hope, to feel valued, to feel respected, to feel heard, to feel seen, to feel acknowledged? What can you do in your community right now? Just for one person, even if it's just for yourself. Because everything we do starts at home with ourselves before going elsewhere. What can you do to help somebody feel that feeling so that locally we can start building that energy in our town? And when you get an idea of what that is, then give it a word, a symbol, or a color. Something you can use as an anchor that you can then tune into when you need it. And let's just commit to spreading hope for somebody somewhere. Because then we'll know that we're starting to raise the frequency of the planet into a different state. Hope is not about wishing and praying. Hope is a state that things can change. It's a frequency of, it's the frequency above despair. Despair is where we often feel like there's nothing we can do. Hope is where we don't know what we're going to do, but at least we know we're going to try and do something. And hope is kind of like a stage that we have to pass through in order to get to the other side of doing. So hope is a good pausing point. And we need to spread as much hope as we can right now. So with that all sent out, and with that energy created, let's bring our attention back to our space. Bring it all the way back to where you're sitting. 3, move your arms and legs, let that feeling amplify right through your body. 2, bringing your awareness back to your space where we started. 1, back in the space, back where we started. So I'm just going to end it there for this week. and I'll see you next week, because this has kind of got me a bit yeah. Ooh. Right, before I start crying anymore, I'm going to say goodbye to those on YouTube and stay with you guys on Zoom. Bye guys.